Want to interact with us? Follow us on Twitter at Infinity1Prod or at the RCWR Show. The following is an Infinity One Productions presentation, keeping it honest, insightful, interactive, covering the latest in wrestling and beyond. You're listening to the RCWR Show with Lee Sanders.
Hope you guys have been doing pretty damn well, and you all are ready for the weekend. What better way to kick off the weekend than by talking about the events that transpired from Shine Wrestling's Shine 13 iPay-Per-View. We're going to dive into all that in just a few seconds. Hey, we want to take this time out first to thank those of you that's checking this out right now on blogtalkradio.com. Special shout-out to our YouTube audience that's going to be checking out this episode a little bit later. We were supposed to do a simulcast where our YouTube audience was going to be able to see yours truly in the flesh, but I'm kind of feeling just a little bit under the weather right now, so I just wanted to keep it simple tonight. So Blog Talk Radio, you guys got a nice little exclusive. YouTube, again, you guys are going to be getting this in just a little bit after the show is over for our Blog Talk Radio audience. We do apologize in advance that you all aren't going to be able to see me in the flesh, but hey, it happens all the time. We do hope that you enjoy the content. And hey, if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel yet, folks, you want to make sure you take the time out to do so, as we're always posting exclusive goodies on there on a weekly basis. We got a little bit of something for everybody. Check us out at the RCWR Show on YouTube. For those of you that may have seen tonight's Shine Wrestling iPay-Per-View and you want to talk about it, you can definitely call in. We'd love to hear from you. 646-478-3525. Once again, that's 646-478-3525. You can also tweet us at the RCWR Show or over at Infinity One Prod. Also, take time out. Look us up on Facebook at Infinity One Productions. What a great way to go into the weekend. We had a pretty solid week of episodes, too. I just want to stress this, and I can't stress it enough. Thursday night, we did a special edition of the RCWR Show, and we had the one and only VH1 Classics from That Metal Show. TV host, radio personality, two-time book author Eddie Trunk was on the show, and it was a great 30-minute interview. We were just going all over the place, talking about his book, talking all things hard rock, metal. If you guys haven't checked that out, do yourself a favor after you get done checking this episode out. Go backtrack, make sure that you give that a listen. I've been getting a little bit of feedback from that interview throughout the course of the day. And a lot of folks were telling me how much they had appreciated that interview. They really enjoyed it. So if you haven't checked that out yet, be sure to do so. Some good stuff. All right. So once again, another Shine Wrestling iPay-Per-View. I always love it when we get these pay-per-views, man. It is a really nice change of pace for those that's looking for that break from the WWE, the TNA, and they just want to see a different alternative. Shine is definitely one of those promotions that I have welcomed with open arms. Hard to believe, but with this iPay-Per-View now in the books, this now makes the 8th pay-per-view, consecutive pay-per-view that we have covered from the Shine Wrestling promotion. We've been doing it for 8 months now. Really hard to believe. Time has really flown by. Shine 13, the iPay-Per-View, jam-packed, stacked card when you look at it from the top to the bottom. Had a little bit of something for everybody tonight as it came to us from Ybor City, Florida at the Oprium. Let's kick things off and talk about what happened with that first match to open up the pay-per-view. We saw a debut from Canadian Xandra Bale as she was involved in a fatal four-way match against La Rosa Negra, Taylor Hendricks, and Sue Young. Now, for those of you, a couple of those names may sound very familiar to you. Let's home in on, of course, the one and only Taylor Hendricks, who had made her Shine debut back in 2008. So she's definitely no stranger to the Shine Wrestling promotion. Of course, she was signed by TNA Wrestling, as she had won TNA Gut Check a little while back, and she was given the opportunity to do some training at their OVW plant. She was used sparingly on the main TNA roster. A few times that we did see her, it was always in a losing effort. Shortly, she would be released by TNA Wrestling earlier this year, back in July, but she hasn't let it stop her from continuing to pursue a wrestling career. And every time I see her, she always is just simply stunning. I can't stress that enough. Great to see her back in Shine Wrestling, as I did see a little bit of her work from the previous time she was there. Zandra Bell, I know for those of you probably listening, you're probably saying, Zandra Bell, what is up with that girl? That sounds kind of exotic. That sounds kind of new. Well, she's mostly been doing her thing over in Canada for independent promotions and whatnot. But for this fatal four-way match, I must admit, I was a little bit surprised by this match for the simple fact it was way too short. I can't stress it enough. This match was way too short. It was probably like about, I would say, 5 minutes, as we had saw Su Yung make Zandra Bell tap out via submission. It seemed like it was really starting to get good, like after the first 5 minutes, and then just out of nowhere, we saw the submission hold get applied, and Bell tapped out, and it was pretty much over. Really wish a little bit more time would have been put into the match, as it really felt like a good opener. But hey, it kind of made up when you go to the second match, as we had Leah Von Dutch taking on Nikki Rocks from the All-Star Squad, a.k.a. ASS. Of course, this has formed by Daphne. She's the one that orchestrated this whole stable. And we actually ended up seeing Nikki Rocks get a win over Lee Von Dutch. Lee Von Dutch, as they were doing the video promos leading up to this match, Lee Von Dutch was talking a really good game. She was talking a lot of smack about Nikki Rocks, calling her a dinosaur, basically calling her a old head. And we know Nikki Rocks, she's been around for a good minute now in women's wrestling. She's been doing her thing and been doing it very, very well. This was, without a doubt for me, the match that should have opened up the Shine 13 iPay-per-view. I felt great match. I mean, from the opening right down to the very end, the pace, it was always consistent. Didn't even seem like it was slow. Didn't seem like it was going too fast. It was just at that right pace. I really love seeing both of these girls. They were just really letting it just hang all out in their match. Was some good stuff right there. Third match of the evening, we saw Amber O'Neal and Santana, the American Sweethearts, officially teaming up under this new stable gimmick to take on Sassy Steffi and Jessie Bell, otherwise known as the S&S Express. Ooh, this match right here. Oh, this one, I couldn't wait to see this one. I had heard a little bit about Sassy Steph and Jessie Bell, and for those of you that kind of need a little bit of a 411 on those respected girls, we got your hookup. Now, Sassy Steffi, she's mostly been doing her thing over in the Midwest, East Coast promotions, basically for Shimmer's Women's Wrestling, Jersey All Pro Wrestling, WSU, OCW. She even did a little bit of stuff for Ring of Honor and Shakira. Now, most recently, she had debuted for the Lady Sports down in Tennessee, 2008-9. She did a couple of shows for Ring of Honor, and she did a couple of other events after that. So she's been dipping and diving into a little bit of stuff on the independent circuit, but that gives you a little bit of insight on her. As far as Jessie Bell goes, she has mostly been a wrestling valet before making the transition to being a wrestler. I know she had signed a TNA developmental contract for Ohio Valley Wrestling, where that's how we know her. She goes by the ring name Jessie Bell. And, so she's still somewhat of a newcomer. I know she did some work also for FUW, Florida Underground Wrestling, for a hot minute there. So that kind of gives you a little bit of a backdrop for those two girls, respectively. Now, this match we saw, which was a good tag match, don't get me wrong. I really, really had enjoyed this tag match right here. We saw the team of Sassy Steph and Jessie Bell pick up the victory. And this would not be the only time, though, that we would see Sassy Steph and Jessie Bell of the SNN. Oh, wait, it's like a tongue twister. SNS Express, as we would see them later on in the night. Let's pick it up with the next match. It was Solo Darling taking on Mercedes Martinez. And this was just a match where really Solo Darling, as cute as she is, and she is as cute as a button. I mean, I can't believe she's only 5 feet tall. She is a cute, tiny little thing. Every time I was looking at her in the ring tonight, I just couldn't help but think about this Dave Matthews song called Little Thing. And I know he did a remake for it on his solo album, Some Devil, several years back. He called it And Another Thing. But every time I kept watching her in the ring tonight, I just kept thinking about that song. And she's a cute little firecracker, I'll give her that. But Solo Darling, she had like no chance in this match against Mercedes Martinez. Mercedes was just having her way with this girl, just dragging her all over the place. Now, we ended up seeing the referee at one point get distracted because Daphne, she was trying to do the right thing. She was trying to let the ref know, basically, hey, Mercedes, she's being a little too rough, what have you. And we actually had Solo Darling get low blowed by Martinez as the ref was distracted, and this basically had set up Mercedes to nail Darling with her finisher to end the match. Now, post-match, Mercedes, she tried to continue her assault on Solo Darling, and we ended up seeing Nikki Rocks, and there is that connection there, of course, fellow ASS member. She came on down there, and she tried to help out Darling. She took the fight to Mercedes Martinez, and remember, folks, Mercedes, Nikki Rocks, they go way back as far as their rivalry go. Remember, it was a couple of months back at a Shine Eye pay-per-view where Nikki Rocks was celebrating her birthday, and Mercedes, who apparently didn't get an invitation, supposedly, she crashed the party and basically threw Nikki Rocks' cake all in her face. So, these girls, they've been having a little bit of a bad beef now for a while. Definitely, this is going to lead these girls to a point where once and for all, they're probably going to have a maybe best 1 out of 3 falls match or something like that in the upcoming months just to squash this rivalry. But it was nice to see Nikki Rocks get involved in this. Now, as Nikki Rocks was doing this, we also saw Lee Von Dutch interfere in this. So she ended up beating the crap out of Nikki Rocks. This would prompt Kimberly, who did not have a match at tonight's iPay-per-view. She came out to lend a hand in helping get Mercedes and the other girls out the ring. So you have a nice little backdrop here to set up the next iPay-per-view, as there's a couple of different combinations that this could go. We could end up seeing a mega tag match here as the All-Star Squad girls, they team up with what am I trying to say? As they try to team up with Kimberly to take on that team of who we got there, Mercedes Martinez, Lee Von Dutch, and the way things were kind of looking there at the end, it looks like we had even more interference that played out throughout the course of the night. That definitely makes you wonder, okay, is Shine now starting to go into the direction where they're trying to focus on building stables? Because let's talk about the next match. We saw another Shine Wrestling debut in Neva, And for those of you that are a little bit curious, what is she about? I did my homework for you guys tonight. I made sure I was prepared for you all, because some of these girls I've never seen before. Now, Neva, she has mainly been doing work for Combat Zone Wrestling. So for those of you that are familiar with CZW, that's where you best know her from. Or you might be a little bit familiar with her work from Shimmer, where she and Ashley Rain were the promotion's inaugural tag team champions. Okay, so that gives you a little bit of a backdrop right there. We saw her take on my favorite, Leva Bates. Leva Bates this time around. And I always love it when Leva Bates pops up at these IPPVs, because you just never know what she's going to come dressed as. This time around, she was dressed as the creepy zombie nurse from the Silent Hill video game, and her entrance was just freaking phenomenal. Mask, nurse outfit, and all. So people kind of wondered if maybe she was kind of recycling her Joker nurse outfit from The Dark Knight. I beg to differ. I think this was just totally unique in itself. I only wish, though, that the entrance that she made going into the ring, I only wish that gimmick would have continued to stay with her during the course of the match. Now, some people, and I was chatting it up with a couple of people in the WWN live chat room, and special shout out to those I was chatting with. Always a kick when I chatted up with those guys and gals in the WWN chat room there. A lot of us were debating on this match, because I'm definitely part of that side that thought that this match, it was a little bit slow-paced for pretty much the entire match. Didn't really seem like it had that necessary needed. I'm used to those matches that do start off kind of slow, but at some point the pace picks up and then it's just full throttle in those final precious minutes or what have you. But this match didn't really seem to pick up the crowd, who for the most part was very energetic. They were very interactive. They definitely were noticeably quiet during this match, and it was a big debate for us in the chat room, because there were some of us that felt that the match was good, but like I said, me and several other people, we thought that the match was just a little bit too slow-paced. Wasn't a bad match, but when you look back on the matches that Leva has had in Shine, you know what she's capable of, and then you look at the type of matches that Neva has had, you just can't help but kind of wonder why this match wasn't really up to that level that a majority of us expected it to be. But still, a great debate that it was, as we kept going back and forth on this. One thing that we all could definitely agree on, it wasn't a bad match. It was a decent match, to say the least. Now, we saw Neva score the victory over Leva Bates, but, and by the way, that win that she got over Bates, that came from the help of SNS, as those girls had distracted the referee, basically giving Neva the victory right there on the silver platter. Now, post-match, Neva would cut a very brief promo saying there's a reason why it's SNS, and the N in SNS stands for Neva. So a little bit of a bombshell right there that kind of surprised a few people, as they had tried to retreat after they tried to do a failed post-match beatdown on Bates, as we saw the American Sweethearts step in. So once again, you got another setup right here where should Shine 14 go down, we could possibly see a tag match again between the American Sweethearts as they take on SNS, this time with Neva being part of that, and Leva Bates maybe joining forces with the American Sweethearts. So it could be a 6-woman tag match. Anything can happen, but I like how they drop these seeds, and also at the same time, I love how it's looking as though they're really starting to build up a tag division. Is this maybe a taste of things to come, to the point where maybe we're finally going to see some Shine women's tag titles get introduced? I, for one, would totally be stoked to see something like that go down. We had Scotland's own Nikki Storm taking on from international parts, or otherwise known as Washington, D.C., Mia Yim. And this match made up big time for what went down in the Leva Bates match. The intensity in this match, the pace. Oh, my God. For me, I would definitely have to say that Nikki Storm versus Mia Yim was one of the best highlights of the night for the entire Shine 13 iPay-per-view. I was a little bit concerned with the finish, though, as we saw Mia Yim go up to the top rope, and she did a 450 splash. Now, she landed on her ankle kind of funny, and she missed the mark. She did not even connect that 450 splash on Nikki Storm. And it was so funny because she basically, they fought, and pretty much in a nutshell, Nikki Storm, she was on her back so that Miriam could set up that 450 splash, but it was a little bit of a botched move. But Mia, she still just went on ahead and went for the pin, even though she missed the mark, and she was able to score the victory. But we saw that it wasn't as bad as we thought it was when she landed funny, as she did walk out the ring at her own accord, and she seemed like she was fine, that she was able to shake it off. But, man, was that dangerous. I know the fans, they were actually chanting, "Fix the top rope," because they kind of felt as though something was a bit off with it. We saw the one and only AK-47 Allysin Kay make her return as she teamed up with Ivelisse to take on Havok and one of my other personal favorites, Karma, a.k.a. Awesome Kong. And, man, I have been waiting for a long time to see Havok and Awesome Kong team up, and I'm glad that it finally went down tonight. And for this match, we actually ended up seeing the team of Allysin Kay and Ivelisse win. Now, bear in mind that despite the girls winning, Allysin Kay was a bit upset. Now, remember, we haven't seen Allysin Kay in about 90 days because, remember, she tried to interfere in the Shine tournament to crown the first ever Shine Women's Champion, and she got suspended for interfering on behalf of one of her fellow Valkyrie members. I believe it was Ivelisse that she tried to help out. And this was her big moment. This was her return. This was her time to shine, no pun intended. But it got a little bit overshadowed because Ivelisse, she had pretty much did all the work. She sucked up all the glory. Kind of makes you wonder if maybe Shine is kind of planting those seeds there that Allysin Kay, she might be reaching that breaking point where she's probably going to break away from Valkyrie, which would definitely be a costly mistake. One thing we should point out, April Hunter, she had nothing to do with tonight's iPay-per-view, as Chastity Taylor had revealed earlier this week on her appearance here on the RCWR show. April Hunter, she recently had moved into a new house, and she's just kicking back, getting settled in and everything. And it was kind of brilliant how they were able to work that into the Shine writing, as basically April Hunter, she pretty much had the night off, really. So they really didn't make that much of a reference of her. But April Hunter, not a factor in that match. Very interesting what was going down right there. Of course, we had our main event match, which saw former TNA Knockouts champion and one half of the Beautiful People, Miss Angelina Love, taking on Valkyrie's Radiant Reign. On Twitter, it was Miss Reign herself. And, man, you wonder just what was going to be happening right here. You know, we got a lot of Shine Wrestling fans that are wondering when is Reign going to drop the title, since she revealed earlier this year that this was pretty much going to be her final year dealing in the sport of professional wrestling, that she's going to be retiring at the end of the year. So a lot of folks, rather than celebrating the fact that She's the first ever Shine Women's Champion. A lot of folks are wondering when is she going to lose the title, but most importantly, who is she going to lose the title to? And I know there were probably many of you Angelina fans out there that thought that maybe she was going to be able to get the job done, but not quite yet. I don't think Angelina is the one. I think Angelina has just a little bit ways to go to prove that she should definitely be one of those go-to people and be a good representation for the Shine promotion. I think there's other people that would make a better Shine champion before Angelina. I definitely don't see Angelina being the second, the third, or not even the fourth champion. I think the way things are kind of looking right now, she may come in 7th, 8th, 9th, or 10th. That's just wishful thinking right there, and I could be wrong with that, but I think we all can be in agreement. She's definitely not going to be in the top 3, maybe not even the top 5. And keeping those words in mind, of course, Reign, when it was all said and done, no help from fellow Valkyrie members, no help from April Hunter, who had the night off. Reign won fair and square. Nice, clean victory. What was even more odd about this, I thought, was that post-match, there was no Allysin Kay to celebrate with Reign. There was no Ivelisse to celebrate with Reign. Kind of makes you wonder what exactly is going on right there. It kind of gives you a little bit of something to think about, or as Arsenio Hall used to say it back in the day, things that make you go, But overall, I would have to say, when I look back on this Shine 13 iPay-per-view, hands down, a really great, fantastic pay-per-view. Really had enjoyed it. It made up big time for what we had got last month. As I know some of the matches that we have from last month's iPay-per-view, it was a little bit of hit and miss, mostly misses, but they rebound very nicely with tonight's iPay-per-view. Without a doubt, I would say to you guys that it is without a doubt a must-buy. I highly would encourage you all to do it. For those of you that are new to Shine Wrestling, but you heard this review and you're definitely pumped up, you want to check it out, all you got to do is go to our website at infinity1productions.com. That's infinity with an E. Put the actual number 1 in there, and you are good to go, infinity1productions.com. And we'll actually have a banner that will take you directly to WWN Live. Sign-up process is easy, only takes a couple of seconds. The site is safe. You don't have to worry about your credit card information being used elsewhere. Everything is 100% secured. If it wasn't, we wouldn't be promoting it on our show, okay? So it only takes a couple of seconds to sign up. Afterwards, you'll be able to order the pay-per-view, no problem. But go to our website, and we highly would encourage you to go to the website and order the pay-per-view from us that way, because we really don't get that much money from it, but every little penny helps, as it all goes towards the production costs of our shows. So if you are a supporter of our show and you appreciate what we do for you guys every single week, every single month, definitely that's the best way to go and order it. And we humbly thank you guys for advance that do order the pay-per-view, courtesy from our respective website with our banners. And, yeah, I would definitely have to say, order the pay-per-view. When it becomes available on DVD, definitely add this one to your collection. All right, this is what I want to do. I want to take a very brief commercial break, and I want to let you guys know of some programming notes as we get ready to wrap the show up. By the way, for you guys that love Shine Wrestling, I can't stress this enough. You want to make sure that you rewind it back to this Tuesday night, as we had Shine Wrestling's live event hostess, Chastity Taylor, on the show. She was with us for at least a solid hour, and she was talking about what was going down on WWE Raw this week. Very insightful discussion that me and her had. As co-host Joe Rodriguez, he is on a little bit of a mini break right now. He'll be back next week. But we were just going all over the place, and of course we had previewed the card for tonight's Shine 13 night pay-per-view, but I can't stress it enough. Check that out. It was a really, really great piece. And also, you can backtrack and listen to a interview that I had did with Shine Wrestling's own Ivelisse. As that was a pretty awesome episode in itself. And we also had a little bit of a cameo from another Shine Wrestling girl. Who was it? Well, backtrack and find out for yourself. But yeah, we'll go ahead. We'll take that commercial break, and then when we come right back, I'll give you guys those programming notes, let you know what we're up to for this weekend going into next week. You're checking out a Friday night edition of the RCWR show on September 27, 2013, 10 minutes before the midnight hour here on the East Coast. Good friends, we will be coming right back.
Want to interact with us? Follow us on Twitter at Infinity1Prod or at the RCWR Show.
Black Avenger, a.k.a. the Black Azrael, Lee Sanders here. Pleased to meet you. Nice to know me. Thank you so much for checking out our Shine 13, the post-show coverage. Hey, quick programming notes for you guys. I have a very busy night ahead of me. I have so much wrestling that I have to watch. It's not even funny, but hey, when you love wrestling as much as I do, it doesn't feel like a job. It doesn't even feel like a hobby. It just feels like some really cool pastime as I got to kick on back and I got to see what's been going on WWE's fort as we got main event SmackDown, which we will be going into details about on our weekend edition of the RCWR show. So make sure that you check that out. It's going to be airing today, or correction, yeah, we might as well say it's midnight now. It's going to be airing this afternoon at 2 p.m. Eastern. You'll be able to catch that at blogtalkradio.com, only here at blogtalkradio.com. Also, we're going to be reviewing the new Triple H Thy Kingdom Come DVD. We were supposed to review that on our Tuesday night edition of the RCWR show, but it looked as though the store that I was originally thinking that had the DVD in Blu-ray, that is, they did not have it, so I had to do a little bit of running around, but managed to get a hold of a Blu-ray copy. We're going to be reviewing that DVD for you guys, so those of you that's not really sure about that DVD, you definitely want to make sure you check that episode out. We'll give you the final verdict on it. And also, we'll review a couple of albums. There's one or two things that I have wanted to discuss that's been somehow mysteriously just been slipping my mind. It happens sometimes, but it's all good. So make sure you check out that weekend edition of the RCWR show. Oh, by the way, we're also going to be giving away a couple more copies of Eddie Trunk's new book, Essential Hard Rock and Heavy Metal, Volume 2. So for those of you that were not able to check out our Thursday night edition of the RCWR show, as we did give away one copy there, you'll have another opportunity. Now, we're going to kind of loosen it up a little bit, and the way that we're going to do this is if you go to our website, we still have the article up. If you go over to our website, there's 3 passwords that's there. You'll see the article. You'll know when you see it. It'll say something Eddie Trunk Prize giveaway related. Just click on that. There's 3 passwords. Remember one of those. And when I put you on the air and I ask you for the password, just give me one of those and you get yourself a copy. Now, added little bonus, if you sit up and you give me a password, then you get a bonus item. What is it? Well, you won't find out until I tell you right then and there. We're going to try to switch it up, though. For those that don't know the password and you just want a copy of the book, you'll definitely be able to get a copy. Just let me know when I put you on the air. Just listen for the prompts and get yourself live on the air. It's as simple as that. So make sure you check that out. And if you are a fan of all things hard rock, heavy metal, be sure to check out our good pal Eddie Trunk over at eddietrunk.com. Also give him a follow on Twitter at Eddie Trunk. Always stay up to date on the very latest. I know he is going hard with the book touring right now. We definitely wish him all the best and safe travels, and he's going to be all over the place probably for the next month or so. Of course, Monday night, you know how we do it. We got the RCWR show live. That is on YouTube exclusively. Join yours truly as I cover Fallout from WWE Raw in about 35 minutes or less. Really great if you aren't able to watch the whole 3-hour episodic episode of Raw, maybe due to football or some other stuff, or you just don't feel like sitting through 3 hours, quite honestly. You know, stuff happens. Maybe you forgot to record, what have you. We got your hookup, so make sure you check that out. It's always interactive on our YouTube Monday night show. Love getting a great fan reaction, so make sure you check that out on Monday if you are a WWE fan. But that's pretty much going to do it. For all the very latest in wrestling news and beyond, check out our website over at InfinityOneProductions.com. While you're at it, take the time out to give us a follow on Twitter at the RCWR Show or at Infinity1Prod. Like us on Facebook at Infinity One Productions. We got episodes available for you guys in the iTunes, Stitcher, also on TuneIn Radio. Just use the keywords, the RCWR Show. And earlier this week, we just launched our own store at ProWrestlingTees.com website. So it's as simple as that. All you got to do is go to ProWrestlingTees.com/the RCWR Show. Let's make sure we get that right because I don't want you guys going to a wrong link. It's actually ProWrestlingTees.com /RCWR. You'll be able to find it that way. Don't worry, we'll make sure we provide all the links for y'all in the episode description. But yeah, we're going to be adding merchandise in the coming weeks. We already got a couple of things that's there right now. Yours truly is going to be sitting down, hammering out some more logos, so make sure you bookmark that as a favorite and check back often because we're going to be launching some really, really cool stuff, and we're going to try to make sure that the prices are affordable for all of you all. So represent. If you've been a long-time supporter of the show, definitely show your love and buy some of our merchandise. The money helps out big time because it helps us with the upkeep for the shows and all that, and also help us set up some really cool contests for you guys from time to time. All right, boys and girls, that's going to do it. I thank you guys so much for staying up late with us as we are now going into Saturday morning. I will be back on air in a few hours, 2 p.m. Eastern, for our weekend edition of the RCWR Show. We'll get you guys caught up in a week of wrestling, also cover the very latest in wrestling headlines and beyond. Until then, enjoy your night. A very good night. Good morning. Pleased to meet you. Nice to know me, everybody.